to be back. I really want to do a huge shout out to my crew, to my team for taking over for a month so that that I could have a break. So it was much needed, and so appreciate Natalie for stepping in and the team for continuing. And it's great also to be back as well. So hello, and welcome to our BG5 Live. So today is May 3rd, 2022. Can you believe it's already May? It's hard to believe. This is episode 154. And today we're going to take a look at trait 2. And we're going to take a look at trait 2 in quality 1, which is about intuitively in the driver's seat of life. So it really is about direction when we take a look at the 2. It is the driver, and it is about being in the driver's seat. All right, before we get started, let's say hello to our panel. Anna's not able to join us today, but today we have Shelley and we have Linda. So let's start with Shelley. Hello, Shelley, welcome.
Hi, everybody. Great to be here. I'm just tuning into Facebook too to see how everyone's doing there. Good to see everyone today.
Great to have you here, Shelley, and Linda. Hey, Linda,
Hey.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much. Happy to be here.
Yes,
Looking forward to the intuition part. Yeah.
Exactly. And we have Miss Moxie here as well. So Moxie has joined us. Her commercial debut is today. So I'll tell you more about that later. So she's playing the part, playing the role. All right, let's jump in and get started. Again, it's great to have all of you here live in our Zoom room on Facebook and watching via the recording. So let's jump in and take a look at being intuitively in the driver's seat of life. Now, before we get started, I do want to remind you tomorrow, which is Wednesday, we have our mini summit. So we would love to have you join us. We're going to be taking a look at the 4 essential truths of success in your career and business, really helping you navigate the changing times. So again, we've talked a lot about this in BG5 Live, how much things are changing, how much things are shifting. And especially now that we have moved into the 2, you've probably been noticing it as well. So let's take a look at May, and let's take a look at what we're going to be exploring this month, as well as taking a look at what trait 2 is all about. So May is all about getting into the driver's seat of life with unique insights, leading by example, and being in the now, expressing the art of living enthusiastically. So one of the things that you'll notice with the 2 and moving into 2 is that we have shifted to purpose being fulfilled through form. So for the last few months, we've been taking a look at purpose fulfilled through the mind. Now it is purpose fulfilled through form. And so you may feel a shift in what's going on. Linda and I were talking about this earlier, where it's like there feels like there's a lot of stuff going on, where there's a lot of stuff that needs to be cleared out. Purpose fulfilled through form is, in a sense, making things concrete, making things real, making things present. And what's really fascinating as well, if you take a look at all of the traits that we're going to be looking at over the next few months, all of them are in communication and action in the throat. So it's all about manifestation. So we're moving in to this period of form. We're moving into this period of manifestation. And so again, you'll start to feel that shift. So it's something to be quite aware of. So what we're going to be taking a look at this month is, first of all, the driver, the direction of self. We're going to be talking a lot about that today. Then next week, we'll take a look at assimilation. You'll notice that the driver is part of identity and direction. It is also what creates, in a sense, that shift moving from the purpose fulfilled through mind to purpose fulfilled through the form. And after the 2, again, all of the traits that we're going to be looking at in the month of May, except for the very last one, are in communication and action, and they're all individual, right? So again, when we take a look at getting individually into the driver's seat of our life, because again, we are in that shift between the era of planning and the era of the individual. So this is part of what's forcing us and moving us towards that era of the individual. And you can see it starts with the two, it starts with the direction, and then it starts with the individual expression. So the first individual expression is assimilation in the 23. This is unique insight that opens the door to change. Then we have the 8 of contribution. This is leading by example. Then we have contemplation in the 20 is I am now. So you'll notice that all 3 of these traits are individual expressions. And then we have skill in the 16. This is one of the logical expressions of the collective, is the enthusiasm of living life as art. Right. So this period during May, you may find that you end up going in a new direction. Spring also brings what's new and brings new direction, brings new growth, right? So you may find that there's a lot of new expression in the direction that you're moving into, and things that you may need to clean up or process or let go of as well within that process as well. What's also very interesting, if we take a look at uniqueness, I've highlighted that as well. Uniqueness has also recently moved into quality 2 as well, meaning that uniqueness, and this it's going to be in quality 2 for quite a while. So uniqueness is all about what makes us unique, and it is also shifting us in a new direction into what is unique as well. We have navigating through 2022, which we have next week. It's one of our special programs. So if you want to dive into more of what that means and where we are in the process of moving through this year, you can take a look at that there. But I just wanted to highlight that so you can really listen as we go through 2 in a much deeper way. The other thing that's very interesting about 2, if you take a look at what grounds the 2, you'll see what grounds the 2 is the 1, right? So we have the 1 and the 2, we have this creativity, right? It's kind of this balance between the masculine and the feminine, the 2 being the receptive, which we'll be talking about here in just a moment. I don't know, Linda or Shelley, if there's anything that you would like to add here as we shift into May, and if you've started to experience that shift as we've shifted from fulfilling purpose through the mind into form.
Oh boy, yes. I just had to keep my face kind of in shape, like, oh my goodness. This is exactly what is happening to me. And I always, and we will talk about it too, but I feel like this month is inviting us to take a seat at the passenger seat, kind of, because then we will go into the right direction. And I feel that I am challenged to go back to my own needs and where my creative self-expression can thrive. And it's exactly, I just had a phone call today. I had promised some people that I would offer them some things, and it was not the right thing. And today I stood up for myself, kind of setting my boundaries and say, okay, well, I know that we talked about it, but I'm not going to do it because it's not what I need. It's what you need. And not from a selfish place, but I have to go somewhere else. And I have to follow my intuition and to use my intuition. And yeah, I have to disappoint you. So it's crazy. This is exactly and literally exactly what is happening. So I feel like, well, in the next coming weeks, I will have my unique insight, what I'm going to do, and I feel there's a change coming. And well, then we have the 8, and that complements the 1. I also have the 1, so then I can PR myself better. And then, yeah, also contemplate more about, okay, I am in the now moment, and yeah, enthusiasm. I love life, and yeah, I feel like this will be a wonderful month that we can express our unique selves in a unique form.
Yes,
So
exactly. So beautifully said, Linda. Thank you so much. And Shelley, I don't know if there's anything that you would like to add.
Yeah, this is really amazing. Actually, I was really struggling last week with the 24. I find that whenever any of the mind traits are active, I spend a lot of sleepless nights. I think I had 2 nights last week where I didn't sleep. And I feel the pressure so strongly. And all of the pressure that was on me last week was very creative energy to figure out how I want to market myself. And I had all these creative ideas coming to mind, and I was up late at night doing creative work, and yet all of it was just leading to today, where it's all of a sudden I felt the pressure release last night around 8 o'clock. I didn't check to see if that's when the 24 shifted into the 2, but I literally felt it release. And this morning I feel so much calmer and more relaxed, and I understand my direction better, or I'm realizing that this is what's going to unfold now this week. It's okay. Now I'm getting a sense of where I'm going, what I'm doing. So I love that this is all here to support. And if I look at my cycles, this is the month just before my new year starts in June. This is setting up all the players for next year and setting up all the circumstance, and it's that time and place where I can really just focus on, okay, where am I going next? What am I doing now? And how is that refining itself? It doesn't feel like a huge change to me, just a refinement of what I'm doing.
Yeah. Oh, beautifully said, Shelley.
Yeah.
So this is something to watch out and look for this week is, are you sensing a new direction? Is the mental pressure removed, and now it's time to get down to business, to start to actually create, to actually express yourself in your own unique way. Very cool. So let's take a look at today's theme. Today's theme is trait 2. It is the driver. It is the receptive. It is the direction of self. The 2 and the 14, which is on the other side, are in a very unique position because not only is it personal, but it also is in a small group dynamic, and it's also a major trait in a large group dynamic. So it's not only our personal direction, it can be a direction of a small group. It can also be the direction of a large group as well. This is a very powerful trait. In a sense, this is where, when we talk about more of the woo-woo side of thing, the magnetic monopole, this is where it sits. So this is like the key to a vehicle, right? It starts the engine for the driver. And so it really is what gets things going, right? So if you feel shifts, if you feel things are changing, right? This is part of the reason why. And this is also the place that holds us in the illusion of our separateness. In a sense, this again goes into more of the human design dynamics, but it is, in a sense, what holds everything together and then provides the direction in which we go. So this is a very, very, very powerful trait. And it's the receptive. It represents, in a sense, the feminine to the one on the opposite side. You can see it on the opposite side of this diamond here, which is the identity and the direction, right? So this provides, in a sense, the direction moving forward. We have the one, which is much more, in a sense, masculine and creative, and we have the two, which is much more receptive. And it's receptivity as the primal base through which any response is determined. It is the root of action. So it's interesting that this is the trait that starts off purpose fulfilled through form, right? Because form is through action, is through communication. And all of the traits that we're going to be looking at each month, all of them, all of the traits of communication and action can be found in this quarter, this quarter of and purpose fulfilled through form, right? So it is at the root of action. This is also the visionary providing a plan for a new way forward. It's individual, so it also is a new way forward. But again, it's unusual because it's also a new way forward for a small group or a larger group as well. But you are not necessarily here to do the work yourself. This is one of the 14 is one of my bridging traits. So this is a trait that is very strong in my own design as well, because it is one of my bridging traits, or 14 on the other side of the two is one of my bridging traits. So again, it is individual, yet it can't do it by itself, right? It needs to find allies. And the motor and the fuel to keep moving in the direction comes from your associations with others. So if you take a look at what it's connected to on the other side, it's connected to the 14, right, which is connected to the energy resource. So in a sense, the 2 has the direction, but it doesn't necessarily have the motor to get it there. And so again, it's the associations with others that provides the energy to move everything forward. So it's the need for allies to manifest the power and the resources to bring the vision into fruition. What's interesting about the 2 as well, this is something from OC16, is that the 2 in and by itself is not very powerful. However, in the OC16, if the 2 has its power base, has its entire team, that's where the power comes from, right? So the 2 is reliant, if you will, on others, on associations with others, in collaboration with others, in having people to work by their side. That's how the direction of the 2 gets fulfilled. And as an individual, simply by aligning to your own direction, you automatically empower a sense of direction in others. So this is what the 2 is all about. So I would love to hear from Linda and Shelley, and I can talk a little bit more about the 2 because since I have the 2, but I would love to hear also just your perspective, Linda and Shelley, in working with me as well, seeing the effect of what the 2 is all about. Yeah, Shelley.
Yeah, it's so interesting to me. I have the 2 as well, but I have none of the power base, and I don't have the 14. And we were just talking about it in OC16 today, that I was realizing in a large organization, that's where some of my frustration had come, was I could see the vision, I would have a vision, and I would know where we needed to go, but I had a really hard time communicating it or getting it out there, or and so I realized now what I need were my allies to help me put it together. Whereas I know working with you, Karen, you've got some of the power base too, and your vision is quite strong. And so it's so fun working with you and seeing your vision and kind of being on the same page with it and helping move the vision forward together. So I guess it's a companionship trait that we have, but it's just was fascinating to me to learn about it, because I've always worked in a really large organization across multiple departments, and usually gathering info from all of them would help me see the patterns and see where we needed to go and see what the direction could be. And yeah, was always frustrated because I didn't always get enough people behind me to actually make it happen. So it was really great to understand that it wasn't me, and it was the fact that I needed to have other people help me with it. Being an independent assimilator too, I tend to try to do things all by myself. It's another signature of this too as well.
Yeah.
And also having the open identity and direction, really needing other people to present things to me so I can use my decision-making strategy to know whether that's the direction I want to go or not. That has another play on it that I've learned since as well. So yes.
Yes, I love that. So again, you can see one of the things with having, and one of the differences between Shelley and myself is she does have the two, but identity and direction, just as you were saying, is not defined. And so so there can be part of the shadow of that is always searching for identity, searching for direction, searching for love. And again, it's that connection with others. That's why especially the 2 and the 14 are so interesting, especially the 2, because it does need others in order to be able to fully express itself. Which, just like Shelley, and finding that out in the OC16 makes all the sense in the world. And now, like, looking at the pieces in having a vision that are necessary in order to fulfill on that, knowing that, again, I can't do it myself, which, even though I'm collaborative, I still try to do everything myself, which is my shadow. 14. I fancy that. And then I try to prove myself, right, with the undefined willpower. So it's been kind of an interesting dynamic. I think, this is what we were talking about earlier, and just kind of taking a look at things that are shifting. I was sharing earlier, there's other aspects of my design where sometimes I can get into this place of, not feeling good enough, not feeling worthy. And then, the 2 is trying to do everything itself, and the vision is so big, and then it gets frustrated because it can't do anything. And then I make myself wrong because I can't do it, and I don't have the resources that I need in order to do that. Right. Then all of my shadows show up around that, of course, and make myself wrong because I'm collaborative. And that happens to be what bridges my split. So in a sense, what we were talking about earlier, I mean, I've been going through some stuff myself, just personally, trying to find my worth and trying to, navigate, just through whatever changes are happening as well. So it feels really good. Feels really good to have the 2 here today, and really to understand it at a deeper level. And the collaboration and the connection that's needed. In order to bring things into a bigger picture. I was talking with Debbie earlier, and we were discussing that, and it's really quite fascinating. So let's go to Linda. Yes, Linda.
I don't have the 2 and I don't have the 14, and I'm in awe with you, Karen, always, in how you can see the direction we have to go. And then I feel like, okay, I will follow you. And I also noticed that then you are stepping into the pitfall of doing it all by yourself. And then I just say, well, maybe I can help. And then you say, oh yeah, that would be wonderful. I said, well, you can ask. So yeah, and I feel like it's starting the engine for other people to follow. So that's, for me, that's what is happening. I love to be in the car with you. And it's really interesting because as I shared earlier, I feel that my direction is also shifting, and not completely to a different thing, because I love BG5 and I always do BG5, but it's going to be a more deepening way. And that comes to fruition also in the interaction with other people. I was just having several phone calls today. And I feel like I also need some collaboration with other people. So I booked 2 sessions with 2 different persons to help me navigate, and completely unconscious of this trait. But that's the way the energy works, because I feel it's time that I do so. I have to dive deep into my inner knowing. And that's also what I love. And also with the OC16, when you take a look at the design, it's literally digging for the gold, and that's the 14, but you have to have a plan. So I feel like I'm digging for the gold, but I have to know my direction first. So that's what I am exploring right now. And yeah, and that's also what I mentioned before. There is a kind of polarity, because we are talking about the driver, but I feel the lesson in life is to let go of the driving part. So it's also going back to what drives us, what ignites us, and that's our uniqueness. And just kind of getting in touch with who we are, and then taking a seat in the passenger at the passenger side and enjoying the ride.
Yeah.
So this, I feel like, and also in the times we are in, you are also referring to that, Karen. Sorry. I feel like, and I notice it with all of my clients as well at this moment. And we were also having this a discussion, so maybe other people also notice it. There is kind of, the strings are pulled nowadays. I feel like there is more of a spotlight on our direction. We have to be ourselves more and more and more. So I feel this month, and as we have seen what kind of activations there will help us tremendously in getting in touch with who we really are and our own direction in life.
Yeah.
So that's also what I notice. And I love that the grounding and balance is in the creative self-expression, because it is kind of well, it's not a motor, but it's kind of it stimulates your uniqueness, your creativeness, that it may, and that's the foundation. We start in the first line. That's where it all starts.
Yeah.
With you. So I love this trait, and also how it shows up in you, Karen and Shelley. It's really fun to work with you.
Yes. Thank you so much, Linda. Beautiful. And again, if you are here in our live Zoom room, if you have trait 2 or if you have 14, because we're going to talk about that for a moment, and taking a look at the shadow of trait 2 as well. So would love to hear from you as well. So let's quickly take a look at how you get affected when you're connected. So we're going to take a look at the shadow of trait 2. So this is if you don't have trait 2. So if we take a look at the shadow of trait 2, and this is especially true if you have trait 14, but you don't have trait 2 on the other side. This can be the lack of direction for your valuable resources, right? Because remember, the 14 is power skills. It is the gold. It is the resources. However, in a sense, it's just kind of sitting there by itself, and it really doesn't know. It has all of these resources, but it really doesn't know what to do with them. And that those resources can be money, can be energy, can be time, whatever that resource is. Without the 2, the 14 doesn't know, in a sense, where to spend the money. And this can be a big problem, especially in small groups or large groups, because if you don't know where to spend the money, it can be spent in places that probably are not very good. I've actually worked with a client that had that as part of the issue, part of what the gap was. So the question is, do you throw money at things trying to solve problems? Do you make poor investments? Or on the other side, do you hold on to money too tightly, not knowing how to utilize your valuable resources? So the problem is that you may make poor investments by throwing your money at anything or anyone. So to protect your valuable life force energy from misuse or abuse of others, again, it's about following your decision-making strategy to remain properly aligned and to bring out the right mutative direction, right? So it's making sure that there really is a plan and a vision to move forward. And so working with others can help you properly direct your resources, which can become a significant catalyst for empowering change in the world, right? Because this is, in a sense, at the heart of any small group or small business, or any large group or large business as well, is having the resources and the finances and knowing how to direct those resources and finances to make and empower change in the world. Right. So again, these two traits are quite strong. And Debbie has the 14 2 times. And she says, yes, all of the above. She's not feeling very well today, so she doesn't want to share today. But we were discussing this today as well. We had a one-on-one conversation. And so again, it's quite fascinating having the 2 and her having the 14. And, and again, taking a look at what's creatively possible in doing that. All right. Anything, Linda, that you notice in not having, you don't have the 14 or the 2. I don't know if you recognize any of this, or Shelley, if you recognize this as well as, again, part of the problem of the 2, and this is, I suppose, another shadow of the 2 is if you have the 2, but not the 14, the shadow is trying to do everything yourself, which I know very well. So Shelley, yes.
I have a few relatives that have the 14 and not the 2. Actually, my husband has the full strength, so I can see how this plays out when you have the full strength. But the people that I know who just have the 14, I've seen kind of the whole spectrum. Some people that will just throw money at things trying to get what they think is best. And other times I see the sort of holding back, not wanting to give the money away because they're not sure whether it's going to be a good investment or not. So I've seen both sides of that play out, and it's really kind of interesting to realize how much you need the other side, how much you need the 2 to go along with this for it to really be money well spent. Have the real effective use of valuable resources so that they're focused. And you just made me realize that throughout my life, I've ended up volunteering in small groups for different things. And almost invariably, I would be the treasurer or affecting how the budget got spent and where the money was going to go. And people liked my ideas, liked my vision and direction, and would usually get on board with it. So I didn't realize that that's where this came from. So it's really interesting to see.
Exactly. I have the same thing too. That
Yeah.
And you may also find, if you have the 2, I'll be in a grocery store and people will come up to me and ask me, do you know where this is?
Yes.
I'm like, I don't work here. And they're like, oh, I was sure you worked here.
Yeah, that happens a lot too. And you could just tell they look at you as some kind of person who knows. And the funny thing is sometimes I do know, so I do direct them.
Right, exactly.
Oh, I was just there. That's 2 aisles over.
And especially if you go into Lowe's with a red vest, you have to be really careful. It was so funny. I was wearing a red vest. I was in Lowe's. I had so many people come up to and ask me for directions and where to find things. I'm like, why are you? I didn't even realize it was the red
Yeah, the
vest
red
until
vest.
somebody pointed it out.
Oh.
Anyway.
It just looked like somebody who knows.
Exactly. I don't know if there's anything you would like to add, Linda.
Oh, I have to laugh out loud because now I feel kind of relieved that I'm not the only person that people are asking direction, but that's because I'm a 5-1. So people think, oh, she knows. so if you have the two, you have the same thing. So that's wonderful. But not having any of this, I can have a struggle feeling what is worth spending my money on. So I can be really hesitant. And that's also what I was, what I'm noticing, like, okay, I really have to go to my gut response to feel a clear yes or no. But I don't have a natural quality of, well, having the 14 or the 2, which way to go. So there's also always that little voice like, is it really worth it? Is it really going to pay off? Is it really? So that's, if you don't have any of this, it can be a struggle to know where to go and also what to spend your money on.
Yeah.
That's so interesting too, Linda. You just reminded me that I realized that having the 2 without the 14, I quite often get really excited about the vision or the direction, and I just want to go there. And it doesn't matter whether we have the resources or not, we'll just find them and we'll get it done. And so for years, I looked after our family budget, where my husband has this full strength. And he always said to me, I said, do you want to do this? And he said, you won't like it if I do it. Because he would have restricted my spending. I wasn't overboard or anything, but I was constantly getting inspired and seeing the vision and direction we could go, and would find the resources somewhere to make it happen. But we didn't always have them. Now that I've handed it all over to him after 35 years of doing it myself, it's so much better because he's so focused. He knows where the resources are and he knows where to spend them. And we collaborate on where to spend them. But it's felt so much better just letting him do that. And we're in a much better financial position as a result. So it's another challenge with just the 2 and not the 14. Just shows how much you need both of them to make it work well.
Right, exactly. I can so relate to what you just said, Shelley.
Yeah, and I literally can be flabbergasted at people that just throw out money like it's nothing. I know someone and she says, oh, well, I'm flying to Ibiza and I'm going to do this and I'm going to that. And I feel like, okay, well, it does not come up to my mind to do that. But she's, oh, well, it will work out. And well, if it doesn't, then it will work out anyway. So, okay. Okay, well, okay. Yeah, it's amazing. So there are lots of lessons to learn for me here.
Yes.
Yeah, for all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For all of us, exactly.
Yeah. Love it. Beautiful. Well, and let's now take a look at today's quality. So we are in quality 1. Quality 1 is always the authority, and this is about intuition. And this is the sensitivity to disharmony and atrophy. So it is the elevation is the higher knowing through aesthetics. So it's kind of knowing it kind of intuitively or knowing through the aesthetics what is on or what is off. So it's the importance of aesthetics, whether inborn or acquired, right? So is it calm or is there disharmony or is there atrophy? With the elevation, the challenge is the urge for action that will ignore the wisdom of the higher self. In a sense, this too is sort of the seat of the higher self, if you will. The assertion of ego in spite of wisdom. So again, it's sort of the ego and pushing things forward, even though intuitively it may not be correct, right? So it's ignoring that wisdom of the higher self. And when you are in tune with the wisdom of the higher self, you can start to see what is the correct direction. Yeah, and you were talking a lot about intuition earlier, Linda, as well. So again, this not only what's in your design, but this is also highlighting that direction as well for you.
And for me, this is I don't have this in my design, but what I really can feel is with the challenge. This is what I was doing prior in my life, is ignoring my inner knowing and wanting to be at the driver's seat, thinking about the material world and steering my way through it, following my ego to find self-worth in well, going to places and work environments that I would have a higher status. And what the other side, the elevation, is that you know, and that you, despite of that there might be a direction, and that's what literally happened to me, that there is a direction that people are really excited about, but it's not my direction. And my intuition knows it. And when it would have occurred, this same situation a couple of years ago, I would have said, oh yeah, I'm going to persist and I'm going to do it. But now I feel intuitively, I'm going to withdraw. And because it's not where I need to go. So I feel like this is such an important, this is quality one. It's the foundation of life, kind of. It's really like, following your authority to let you be, that you are guided by your body intuition and not by your ego in where to go. So I feel like this is, wonderful to see it here highlighted and to see it, how it plays out.
Yeah. Beautifully said, Linda. Yes. Anything, Shelley, you would like to add?
Just spark something again in me. And I think maybe because I have the open identity and direction, I was really contemplating it quite recently, realizing that for me, how much we all need other people. But I think of it as I need to get my direction from those around me. And I was thinking about it in terms of like a video game where, you have to go and solve a problem or find a person who's going to give you that tip, going to give you that information that you need. And then you run it through your decision-making strategy. Oh, okay, they're telling me this. Is that the direction I want to go? It's not like I'm at the whim of everyone else pointing me in the direction I need to go. It's just that I need other people to help me decide which direction to go. And it's by interacting with all those, with other people, getting the tidbits from each of them, and using my decision-making strategy to help me decide which direction is correct for me. It's just, this has taken me a lifetime to figure out where I used to feel really lost and confused. I get it now. I get it that I need to work with other people and really trust that I can be the passenger and that life is directing me through the people that I meet and the interactions that I'm having.
So beautifully said. It's one of the interesting things. This is one of the things I have that I'll be talking about in the mini summit next tomorrow in the mini summit, is really taking a look at the more that you are yourself, the more you are an individual, the deeper you can connect with others at a very deep, in a sense, personal, spiritual level. And that connection is just what Shelley was talking about, is it not only supports you in moving in a direction, it supports others as well and empowers others as well in moving in a direction that's correct. And so the more we can be ourselves, the more that we're following our decision-making strategy, the more we can connect with those that are, in a sense, going in the same direction that we are, and can support us on the journey, whether it be in a small group, whether it be in a larger group. This is really at the heart of the direction, personally, individually, as well as, not necessarily collectively, but as a group, a small group or a large group as well. Yeah, amazing. Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Shelley. And we have our celebrity, and we have Michael Palin. And so the life work theme, if we take a look at the life work theme of the two, especially with the 2-1, your life work theme is direction. So it's all about direction. So you are influential, an influential confidant who combines aesthetics with the deep resonance to humanity's material needs. Again, it starts off that purpose fulfilled through form, maintaining continuity with the past while mutating the collective's material direction. And so Michael Palin, if you're not familiar with him, he's an English actor and comedian, writer, and television presenter, and as well as a public speaker. And he was a member of the Monty Python comedy group, and he was one of the main writers for Monty Python. The other thing, so he was really giving the direction, if you will, through his writing and also through his performing to the Monty Python comedy group. Also, he's also since 1980 has made a number of travel documentaries as well. So I thought it was interesting, again, direction, doing several different travel documentaries, right? Providing direction and travel and bringing forth, in a sense, the direction in which to go. So I thought that was a perfect example. I don't know if Linda or Shelley, or if there's anyone in our Zoom room who would like to add anything to that as well.
I'll say something. I love Monty Python. And when you think about the huge impact they've had on humanity's, a lot of times they were poking fun at humanity's material needs, poking fun at all of the things we do in order to accumulate our material success. Like just everything they did was reframing the way we saw ourselves in the material world. Humor, really great humor is so transformative and such an amazing healing balm for society.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, beautiful. All right. So this wraps up our trait 2. So again, if you want to know if you have trait 2 in your design, you can download a free chart at bg5businessinstitute.com and find your own design, see if you have trait 2. Also, if you want to watch any of the past BG5 lives or follow along with the trait of the day, you can go to our website and you can sign up for the daily emails, which will give you the trait of the day. You can also find past episodes of BG5 Live in our free resource library. You can also find them on YouTube as well. Also, classes are starting. So I'm going to be teaching the BG5 Foundation course that starts here in a couple of weeks. Would love to have you join us. I don't often teach the foundation course. So if you'd like to jump aboard and take a look and dive into BG5 and really get the foundation, would love to have you on board. We also have the foundation course starting in Chinese as well. We also have the BG5 certification, which is starting up as well, which you can still jump in if you want to be a part of the certification. And if you have taken courses in the past, the next semester is starting. So we'd love to have you in some of the more advanced advanced certifications as well. And again, tomorrow we have our mini summit. So we'd love to have you join us for that. Also in special programs, if you go to special programs, we're going to be starting to offer more and more special programs. So if you just want a little taste of what BG5 is all about, or just little tidbits on different topics within BG5, you'll be able to find them there under special programs. All right. So to wrap everything up, I would love to hear from Linda and Shelley. What are some things to pay attention to, especially this week? Since we're starting today in Quality 1, we're really going to be experiencing this trait 2 throughout this week. So what are some things for people to pay attention to or be aware of this week? Would you like to start us off, Linda?
Yes. Well, what comes to mind is that you might feel a struggle between what the ego wants or your mind wants and what your body wants. And my advice really is to follow your decision-making strategy, because with this beautiful energy, there might be a different direction for you. And maybe it is scary, or maybe different, or not comfortable yet. But life wants us to thrive. So lean back, ignite the engine, but then lean back and let life take you where it wants to take you. And that's also a part of the era that we are heading towards. Trust the process and trust the direction of life. That's really my big message here.
Yeah, beautifully said, Linda. Thank you so much. Beautiful. And Shelley.
Yeah, that's awesome, Linda. I love the way your intuitive insight talks about things. Yeah, I would add to that, just kind of in sitting back and relaxing into who you are, just really pay attention to who crosses your path. Who do you cross paths with? Who do you run into? Who and what is it they are giving you information about? And do you bump into somebody you weren't expecting to, or does something come out of the blue that changes the direction you're heading, or makes you consider the direction you're heading? And like Linda said, using your decision-making strategy to really feel out, or that's how I do it, to really pay attention to what's best for you, as opposed to what your ego thinks you want. So I think that this is a wonderful time to really let go and feel and sense and intuit your way to the next direction for you in your life at this time.
Yeah, beautifully said, Shelley. Yes. And so again, with that, with the 2, and again, also the 2 is going to be impacting us quite a bit as well in the background frequency for the rest of this year, in being in uniqueness as well. So it really is getting us grounded in what makes us unique and preparing us for the era of the individual. And again, since in a sense, this is the seat of the higher self, it is really trusting life and trusting yourself and truly following your decision-making strategy, and truly, just like as Linda was saying, allow life to take you where you need to go, because that's where the magic is. When we try to control it, just like we were talking about, both Shelley and Linda mentioned this, when you're trying to direct it through your ego, you're breaking down, or you're blocking the flow. When you allow the direction to unfold and exactly how the direction needs to unfold, that's where the magic happens. Beautiful. Well, it is so great to be back. And again, thank you to our panel and thank you to everyone who has stuck with us. And it's great to be back and look forward to seeing you all next week. All right, everyone. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.